Okay, I'm taking another crack at this. This is my second attempt. I went through this whole video earlier on where I started from complete scratch and then in about 30 minutes constructed a mix using effects chains that I had created previously, but starting with balancing my mix and then adding the plugins and doing the additional balancing and all that stuff. And anyway, I took a listen back, and it sounded like this.
All right, now we are recording video.
So
let's try this again. The hand clap.
Yeah, good. So I'm going to give this another shot, and what I'm actually doing here is using or mixing a song using Ignite, Emissary, the amp sim. So here's how I have it all set up. Bria gate, the TSE 808, the Emissary, and then the cabs that I'm using, the IR that I'm using, I bought from End All Cabs. I'm using the orange 412. The left side here I have set to 1A and 2C. The right side I have set to 2A and 2C, just for a little bit of variety. On the rhythm guitar bus, here's the SSL channel strip. These are the settings that I have. I've done all this gain reduction here after this processing, some very light compression, equalization. I have the E plugged in so that it actually sounds like the console. So high pass. So I use presets first of all, and then I tweak the presets. So I started with the metal guitars preset, and then I tweaked it to make it sound the way I wanted it to sound in relationship to the other instruments, so that it would fit in nicely with not only the bass guitar, but allow space for the frequencies that the bass guitar relies upon to be present, to be unmasked by the guitar. And I did the same thing with the bass drum, so that the frequencies that the bass drum occupies in order to be punchy and clear are not being masked by either the bass guitar or the rhythm guitar. And so this is a newer skill for me, so something I'm still working out and something I'm still learning and developing, but I feel like I'm starting to get it. And so this is just kind of where I'm at in that process right now. I have some side chain compression coming in from the lead guitar, just to reduce the volume a little bit when you hear the lead, just to make a little space for the lead guitar when it comes through. The lead guitar, my SSL channel strip settings are kind of similar to the rhythm guitar, except for I have a very high frequency, high pass here. And so I've kind of taken out that mid-range that will allow the rhythm guitars to fill in a little bit, and then focused it in the upper mids. And then you can see where there's some air given to the lead as well. Some, again, light compression, less gain reduction, obviously, than the rhythm guitar bus. Okay, for the bass bus, I am using Duality Bass Studio. For the cabs, I am switching here to the... No, actually, I have it set already. So I have the End All Cabs, Ampeg 810, the 1A setting, and the 1B setting. These are blended 50-50. So those sound freaking awesome together. I have it reduced to about negative 5.5 dB. on the bass bus. I start with a little RIA EQ because my bass rings out a lot at the 1.4 kilohertz, well, in that neighborhood there. And so this sort of takes out some of the distracting and obnoxious ringing sounds that come from that. It's a very narrow cue, and so and then it's a lot that's scooped out. Then I have a high pass down here at around 40. So that's it for that. For the J37, just for a little for a lot of saturation, actually. That's the only reason I have this on here, for saturation. Then the SSL channel strip is set so that there's some compression, some fairly heavy compression, as well as the gate and the expander is being active just to fill it out a little bit. The high pass is set to 32.9 on that. What else? We've got boost at 170, and then we've got some reduction, some very narrow reduction at about 20 to make room for the bottom of the snare. I don't know why I have it so sharp. Just it's just the way it worked out, I guess. It probably doesn't need to be that sharp of a cue, narrow of a cue, I mean. Okay, as far as the high mids, so I give it a little boost at, significant boost at about 7.2, just for the growl, wide cue, let it fill out that area. And, there's some patchwork that happens, and then that's kind of it. So with a lot of reduction. Next, we go down to the IK Multimedia T-Rax 5, their version of the 1176 Black. I'm not sure which version, which cycle of the Black, which version of it was, but this one sounds pretty awesome. So those are the settings I've got going on there. C4 stereo, this is barely being used. It's just for just a little bit of, just a tiny bit of control. Didn't mean to close that. I have, again, RIA comp for some sidechain compression that's coming from the 2 kick drum tracks so that the bass guitar will actually duck under them just for a very quick instance, just to make room for them. And then I have the T-Rax 5 EQ 73, their emulation of a Neve 1073 EQ. I love this EQ for bass because it gives this nice, beautiful 0.7 growl that you can get out of it. And then the low shelf is set to 60 hertz at a negative 2.9 dB setting, in and outer level with each other. I have a shelf at 50, and then, sorry, high pass, not a shelf. And then a little boost, high frequency boost to 6 dB. I'm not sure what frequency exactly that works out of, but I don't know, it sounds kind of cool. Okay. That's pretty much all I have for the bass bus. For the drums, I have just a number of SSL channel strips. These aren't really doing a whole lot other than just adding the SSL sound to it. The only real processing I have is, actually I need to change this. This one is going to be the rack tom, and I'm going to bring that way down in dB. In fact, I should give that a listen. Okay, that's about where I want the toms to set. The hi-hat, I have, I also need to make some changes here really quick. Okay, and I'm gonna bring that down really low. Yeah, their preset is just fine for me. And then the snare, I started with their tight snare and I just made some small tweaks. The same with the Easy 2, I use tight kick. In Easy 1, I use tight kicks. I'm using Easy Drummer on this, and the setting for Easy Drummer has 2 kick drum tracks, one where the beater hits the kick drum and one on the other end of the kick drum to pick up the sound that comes out the other side. And let's see, on the drum bus, I have this SSL native channel strip. I used their RD drum bus and then made my own tweaks. So high pass at 24.8. I have a low shelf at 89, boosted by about 3.5 dB. The somewhat more open Q in a reduction of 1.4 dB at 0.5 to make room for those rhythm guitars. I have a neutral Q here, but 3.3 dB boost at 1.7 kilohertz here. That's to accommodate both the bass guitar and some of the snare. Sorry, this is, yeah, to boost the snare a little bit, but also fill out, oh no, what am I doing there with that? No, that's where I'm getting a lot of my snare sound. Never mind. Okay, there's a 3 dB boost at about 12K, just for some air on the overheads. And let's see, what else have I got? A little bit of a reduction of on the master, the dynamics, some slight compression, but really fast release and low rate. Actually, a high ratio there, but it doesn't over compress it, so that's good. Let's see, for this room track I have right here, I'm using T-Rex 5, this room processing plugin. I'm using this as a send from the rhythm guitars, the lead, the bass bus, close that, as well as the synth bus. So this is capturing all of those at varying levels and then making it sound just like a room. With the SSL channel strip, using these, I use the stereo room setting, and then I kind of just tweaked with things until I was happy. And then some EQ at the bottom here just to take out some of that bottom. All right, the synth bus, I've got the Brower Motion set to Solina Shimmer. It's a side chain thing, so it as well as Reacomp both duck and just make it fit in a really kind of cool way. SSL channel strip, I use synths better, but then I made a lot of my own tweaks in here. You can just see those. I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm using T-Rex 5 Optocomp for some very light compression, and it has a slow attack, so that's a nice thing. Even though it's set here, this optical compression, I believe, is supposed to have a slower attack. Infinity EQ to get some stereo boost. In other words, the highs on the upper mids and then the highs on the stereos on the left and right parts of the stereo image are going to be boosted on the sides, but not in the middle. And then I'm cutting at about 250 there. So, all right, that's that. On the mix bus, SSL native channel here, no compression. These are the settings. Small boost at 10, small boost at 2.2, small reduction at 0.8, and a bit of a boost at 40, high pass at 20. So that's the mix bus. I should say that there is a cut here at 30 just to kind of tame things. And then I have a mix aux. I think I stole this from Andrew Sheps. So just threw a little tape saturation on there, SSL native channel strip, no compression here because I'm actually using the SSL native bus compressor after this. So I have these settings, 16.6K boost of 5, 1.4 boost of 6.5 with a slightly wider Q. Slightly wider Q at 0.5 with a boost of 3.9. Yeah, basically not touching 100K. And then high pass, I actually have the high pass going down here at 30. And then there's the native bus compressor with these settings and 9.1 makeup gain because I've got a threshold of negative 3.9, quick attack, slow release, automatic release, ratio of 20:1. So I'm crushing it. So there we go. On the master bus is very simple. I have SSL native bus compressor with a slow attack of 10 milliseconds, auto release, ratio of 2:1, barely any threshold on there, and then makeup gain of a 0.5 dB. After that, I have the limiter, and I'm using the L1 limiter from Waves. These are the settings on that. Out ceiling is at -1. Release is at 1.27, and pretty straightforward there. So, how does it sound in a full mix? So you get the picture there. So I think what I might do is export the template for this so that if you want to use it for your own mixing purposes, you're welcome to. But really, I just encourage you to get in there and fiddle around. That's how I figured it out. I don't know. Sounds okay to me. I've lost my objectivity, so hopefully you like it. And I don't know. Cool. I hope it helped. Bye.